everyone. I'm Kevin Elson, and here's a look at what's going on this week in the news. We begin with news from the Vatican. Pope Francis led a prayer vigil in St. Peter's Square over the weekend for peace in Syria. The Pope told the estimated 100,000 people gathered that war is ultimately caused by selfishness, which can be overcome only through expressions of fraternity and never with violence. The Pope said that peace is possible and that looking to the cross provides us with God's answer, that peace can only be achieved through reconciliation, forgiveness, and dialogue. The Pope had called the prayer vigil less than a week earlier as the central event of a worldwide day of fasting and prayer for peace in Syria, the Middle East, and the world. The Vatican called the vigil an unprecedented papal gesture for peace. The 4-hour vigil include Eucharistic adoration, praying of the Rosary, and readings. Here in the United States over the weekend in cities around the U.S., protesters voiced their concerns about proposed military strikes on Syria, and Catholics, along with people of other faiths, joined together in prayer for a peaceful solution in Syria. Catholic News Service spoke with protesters outside the White House and was also on hand for a special Mass for Peace at the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception.
So I'm here to say as clearly as I can, along with Pope Francis, who reminds us that war is suicide for humanity. I remind people that God has said, "Thou shalt not kill." God never said except in war or except in anything. God said, "Thou shalt not kill."
Gestures of peace, and to hear the words and see the hope for peace.
Say more war! We say no more! They say more war!
We've got to follow the call of Dr. Martin Luther King, who said it is a choice now for humanity between nonviolence and non-existence, and certainly the possibility of a world war is imminent if we go to war and bomb the people of Syria.
We feel that if we appeal here to the country, they will either write or contract or congressman, and the Congress will vote against the war.
We must help one another and love one another, and it's Jesus' teachings where love one another as I have loved you.
Looking now at more news from around the country, Franciscan Father Peter Vasco, president of the Franciscan Foundation for the Holy Land, is echoing the concern that Pope Francis has expressed for Syria and the entire Middle East. Father Vasco said his Christian counterparts in the region worry that U.S. strikes in Syria would further inflame a situation in a volatile region. He said they worry that if the U.S. strikes Syria, then Iran will try to do something in Israel and the violence will spread in the area. The American-born priest spoke with the Florida Catholic, Miami's Archdiocesan newspaper, at the start of a 13-city tour of the U.S., where he'll discuss challenges for Palestinian and other Christians living in the Holy Land. He will also talk about the Foundation's efforts to support humanitarian projects and provide scholarships for Christian students. Back to the Vatican now. Pope Francis is continuing his daily morning Mass at the Casa Santa Marta. Yesterday, he reiterated the importance of hope. Rome Reports has more on the Pope's homily.
Pope Francis explained the true meaning of hope, one of the virtues he has continuously referred to during his pontificate. At his Mass homily in Casa Santa Marta, he said hope is more than just optimism for Christians.
Gesù la speranza. Rifà tutto. È un miracolo costante. Non solo ha fatto miracoli di guarigione, tante cose. Quelli erano soltanto segnali di questo che sta facendo adesso nella Chiesa. Il miracolo di rifare tutto, quello che fa nella mia vita, nella tua vita, nella nostra vita, rifare. E questo che rifà Lui è proprio il motivo della nostra speranza. È Cristo che rifà tutte le cose più meravigliosamente che la creazione, è il motivo della nostra speranza. E questa speranza non delude, perché Lui è fedele, non può rinnegare se stesso. Questa è la virtù della speranza.
As an example of hope, the Pope reminded all Christians about the Virgin Mary's attitude after her son's death up until his resurrection on Sunday.
Finally in the news, at the September 9th conference entitled Religious Freedom and Human Rights, Path to Peace in the Holy Land, that all may be free, retired Cardinal Theodore McCarrick of Washington said 4 essential elements to any long-range peace deal in the Middle East are human rights, religious freedom, an agreement of the Holy Land, and forging a path to peace. Cardinal McCarrick, who returned recently from a trip to Jordan, said that he visited the Jordan-Syria border and saw the tremendous difficulty of those fleeing the fighting. The Cardinal said he was especially moved by the faces of the children in the refugee camps. The Cardinal also talked about the shrinking Christian numbers in the Middle East, saying it is a cause for concern. In Iraq, before the 2003 U.S.-led war, the country was home to about 950,000 Christians. Today, according to Cardinal McCarrick, that figure is down to 250,000. The conference was held at Catholic University of America and was co-sponsored by the university along with the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops and Catholic Relief Services. Well, that is all the information we have for you this time. I'm Kevin Nelson, and don't forget, you can keep up to date with Catholic news throughout the week on Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV Network.